Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is a wonderful day. I know my light is might be kind of bright on your end, but I have my drapes open, as you can see, and so I'm going to try to get this light, get my ring light here a little bit better, and hopefully you're seeing me. It's what is today? Today is the 27th, I believe. Is it 27th of June? Oh, well, you know what day it is. Thank the Lord for another day. I thank Him for all the many blessings that He bestowed on our souls for being so good to each and every one of us. And because of Him, because of His goodness and His mercy, we are here today on Point of View. And I am just happy, happy, happy to be here with you. And when you had enough, well, it's time to do something different. Let me get to where I'm supposed to be. When you've had enough. When you've had enough. Let me make sure that I'm seeing myself here on the line here. Make sure that I'm seeing myself here. Make sure that I'm doing the right thing here. I think I'm on here. I know I am. I know I'm live. So anyway, I know I am. Hi, 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 hi. Okay, so when you've had enough and it's time for a change. How many of you sometimes or you have failed to look at my clothes? I did straighten the clothes up, but I've been moving around. So how many of you out there are out here, in here, wherever you are with me today, whatever day it is, whatever year it is, it's the right time for you to be watching Point of View with Miss Shirley Polk because there's a time in our lives where we have had enough of one thing and it's time to move on. Have you ever felt like that? Do you feel like that now? So we're going to talk about that. We might not go a whole hour today, might not go a whole hour today, but I tell you what, I'm going to do some adjustments here. So we might not go the whole hour, but what we do, we think we know is quality, quality, and it's good for each and every one of us. So thank you for being here with me. Now I'm going to go right on into our reading here today, and I want to go to Ecclesiastes. To everything. This is the third chapter of Ecclesiastes, and so this is going to round it all off. We cannot separate this from our lives because the times are here, and all this time is foretold in the scriptures, in the Bible. All right? So I just want you to listen to me, even if you are one that at this time does not believe that the words in the Bible is scripture from God. If you don't believe it, I just ask you to listen to me today, okay? Now, everything has its time. Everything has its time. That is in our lives. That is all over the world. Everything has its time. So I'm going to read this Ecclesiastes, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Here, everything has a time. Ecclesiastes, the third chapter. Everything has its time. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal, Heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. This is the God-given task. What profit, what profit, Profit, has the worker from that in which he labors? That's a question. I have seen the God given task with which the sons of men are to be occupied. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity in their hearts, except that no one can find out the work that God does from beginning to end. End. I know that nothing is better for them than to rejoice and to do good in their lives, and also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. That is going to coincide with what I'm talking about today. The time. When is it time to make a change? When you've had enough. Whatever it is in the area in your life, when you know for sure that you've had enough, it's time to make a change. Time to make a change. So I'm going to go to my article here. And this article is here. Let me make sure I get it. Here, I have it here. I'm just got these panes open. When is enough enough? 6 signs you need to move on. And this is by Nina. April 28th, 2022 is when this was published. And this site is a site that I don't think I've ever used before. So I'm going to tell you the name of this site that I've never used before. And it is goalcalling.com. Goal calling. GOALS. Goalscalling.com. So we'll go right on with this, okay? Goalscalling.com. And I would suggest, if you would, go to this and read some of these articles for yourself. When is enough enough? Everyone knows that life isn't supposed to be fun and easy all the time. And remember what the scripture told us: a time to be born, a time to die, a time for war, a time for peace, a time to build, a time to tear down, build up, pluck up, all of that. A time to reap, a time to sow, all of that. Everyone knows that life isn't supposed to be fun and easy all the time. And we know that, don't we? Many of us have lived decades, and we know for a fact that life is not easy all the time. The processes that we go through, they're not easy all the time. Everyone knows that life isn't supposed to be fun and easy all the time. But how to know if your current life simply isn't for you? How do you know when your current life is, is simply isn't for you? How to know when enough is enough? How do you know when enough is enough? We're going to get into that, okay? And I thought about Popeye when God put this into my mind. Popeye said, and let me see, what does it say? That's all I can stand, and I can't stand no more. And then he has that can of spinach, and he pops it, and he goes, scoop, and it's a da 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 da. That's all I can stand, and I can't stand no more. Okay. So if you have been thinking about changing your life in any way, whether it's about quitting your job, don't be scared. Okay. When you know without a doubt that you've had enough, okay? You got to stand firm. You've got to do what's best for you, all right? And what is going to give you that happiness and that assurance and that peace of mind, and you won't leave this world with regrets that you did not do what you were destined to do to make you have a majority of a good life. The majority of your life is going to be good. Yes, we have obstacles, we have things that are going to happen. It tells us in the scriptures. And if anybody says that that is not right, it's something wrong the matter with them, because we see it every day. We know it to be a fact that there is a time for everything, just like there's a time for certain things in our lives, okay? If you have been thinking in our present lives, okay? If you have been thinking about changing your life in any way, whether it's about quitting your job, moving elsewhere, ending a relationship, or leaving your old self behind, you're in a situation where you are not really happy. But you might not be sure if you want to leave either, okay? So if you're thinking about it, you might not be happy, but you're not sure that you want to leave this life behind. I was reading online, and there's a young couple. I think they've been here in Dallas all their lives, in this area, all their lives. I know their parents very well. We're all close. The parents and I are close to each other and the family. And they made an announcement on Facebook that there had an opportunity. Well, as a matter of fact, a couple of opportunities had come up for a change in their lives. One of their jobs, they got an offer and they accepted it, and they made the announcement that yes, this will be a change, but we're going for it and we're excited about it. Although we'll be leaving our family and everyone behind, we will be going to another state for another opportunity, a good opportunity, a positive opportunity, and we're going to take it. They made a change, a decision. Yes? So it's perfectly normal to feel like you should leave a perfectly fine job or relationship, even though you can't help but wonder if there's something better for you out there. Big choices are not easy to make, and there isn't necessarily only one right answer, and that's the truth. There are multiple answers to some of them. You just have to take your time and pray to God about it and accept the answer that He gives you. Listen for Him to answer you, and He will guide you in the right direction. It all stems from listening and obeying. And I guarantee if you ask Him, He will guide you if you ask in the name of Jesus. Like I said, some of you, if you just listen, you might not believe this. Some people might not when they see it, but if you just try it, I guarantee it will work. But I'll tell you one thing, the author says, says, you deserve to be happy, and things can change for the better really fast if you just dare to take action. And I want to go back to Ecclesiastes. This book is old and it's been here a long time. It's in the Bible, okay? And it tells us that, let me get back here. I got another scripture that came up, Isaiah, but I'm going back to Ecclesiastes and talk about that. I just want to read that last part of it because this is working together. And I was talking to my sister today, El Marie. I said El Marie. That's what her dad used to call her, El Marie. Talking to her today, and I was saying I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I was saying God is going to give me something to talk about, and He certainly did. So listen to this. I just want to go back to the 12th verse here in Ecclesiastes, the third chapter. I'm going to this 12th verse. Now remember what I just read out of this article here. I know that nothing is better for them than to rejoice and to do good in their lives. The 13th verse says, and also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. Got that? I know you have it. I didn't even have to ask that. I know you have it. It is the gift of God. So when you are making decisions, you don't have to feel guilty. Do what you have to do in order to be happy. And if it's in the will of God, you are going to be happy. So she's saying, but I tell you one thing, going back to this paragraph here, and this sentence, you deserve, well, paragraph, you deserve to be happy, and things can change for the better really fast if you just dare to take action. You've got to, was it faith without works is dead? You have the faith, but you have to put that faith into action. You have to do something, okay? How do you know when enough is enough? How do you know when enough is enough? It can be very hard to know what action you should take or what you really even want to do in your life, period. That's totally normal, but you need to find the right answer so that you can be truly happy one day. It's the right answer. And remember, she said there are multiple answers, but if you concentrate on it, you will get the right answer. Okay? So, to figure out whether it's time to say enough is enough or whether you should still keep trying, ask yourself if the following statements apply to you. Ask yourself if the following statements apply to you. Okay, number one, you are constantly wondering if you should just leave. Are you often wondering whether you should just quit? That may be it's not worth even trying to make things work in your current situation. People who are happy where they are don't constantly think about what else life has to offer or is this enough? If you feel like life might be much better if you just dared to take the plunge, chances are that's what you should do. All right? Number two, you secretly dream about a completely different life. Do you dream about a completely different life? Do you often find yourself thinking about living in a certain country, finding new friends, or having a completely different career? Whatever your dreams are, they are valid and you shouldn't ignore them. You hear that? You should not ignore your dreams. If you simply want more responsibility at work, you might be able to achieve that without quitting your job. But if you currently work as an accountant and you have dreams of becoming a lawyer, then you need to quit your job and apply to law school. Hey, take the effort, take some action, okay? Number three, you feel like you're not yourself. Do you feel like you are bubbly and outgoing on the inside, but you are acting totally different? Or that you are supposed to be confident and adventurous, but for the past years you've been passive and retired, wait, passive and reticent. Okay, have you been that way? Now, living the wrong life can make you forget who you really are. Living the wrong life can make you forget who you really are. Have you had any experiences? Do you know people like this? They don't know who they are. They're just following along, living that life that's expected of them, staying in that box that people have put them in. Living the wrong life can make you forget who you really are. But if you feel like you are not quite yourself, or that you are playing a role instead of being the real you, something needs to change. Number four, you don't feel like even trying. These are some signs, okay? that you had enough. You don't feel like even trying. Have you worked on something for years only to find out it wasn't meant to be? That's crushing, and you might think there's no point even trying to change your life and making things work anymore, but that's not true. You still have a chance to be happy, and you should keep trying. And I was having a conversation, and it came up about some people spend years earning a degree in a certain field, and then later on in life they realize, hmm, I want to do something different. And some people venture out. Hey, I'm going for it. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to change. And I've heard of people who have certain occupations. They might be a doctor, they might be a lawyer, they might work in a factory, they might be whatever they are, and they change and they do something totally opposite of what they went to college for and earned their degrees in. And they are perfectly happy because they broke out of that box that people had them in, that they had themselves in. And some people feel obligated to stay there because, oh, well, they spent this much money on me to get this degree, and I don't want to disappoint them by changing my life. Honey, 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 sir, 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 ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. Do what makes you happy if it's good for you. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. You have to live your life. You have to stop letting other people live their lives through you. And then you miss out on your whole life trying to please other people. So you might think there's no point in trying to change your life and making things work anymore, but that's not true. You should have a chance to be happy and you should keep trying. Either you have to keep trying in your current job or relationship or whatever else you are not quite sure about, or you have to find something else to go after. You've got to do it. You have got to do it. Number five, you are lying to your friends and family. These are some signs, okay? You're lying to your friends and family. Do you catch yourself telling little lies to your friends and family about how everything is well and good, although in reality things are far from perfect and you feel like it would be embarrassing if people knew how things really are? If you need to hide your life and your true feelings from those closest to you, that's a sign you need to be honest with them and yourself and change your life. Change your life. This is your life. If God wanted other people to live through you, I imagine He would have made them just like you or made them a part of you, okay? And not just like the DNA aspect of it. But they would be a carbon copy or they would be you, all right? Number six, you haven't really been happy in a long time. Have you ever seen people who are miserable? Are you one of those that's miserable and you're afraid to step out? Don't wait any longer. You haven't really been happy in a long time. Here's what it is. The most important thing to ask yourself is, are you really happy? Do you feel like everything is good and you are free to grow in your current situation? Or do you feel like you can't be happy unless there are going to be some big changes? How do you feel? All right. Check yourself, right? You might have heard that happiness comes from within, and it is true to a certain extent. But at the same time, you can't be truly happy if you're not where you want to be, doing what you want to do, and with the people with whom you can be yourself. So, what do you need to do? I like this. What do you need to do when you had enough? This is all I can stand, and I can't stand no more. And like Elder Davis was saying, he saw on one of the Christian channels where this group was singing, enough is enough, talking about the devil. Enough is enough, and I'm tired of your stuff. Enough is enough. So what do you do when you had enough? If you know what you have, that you have had enough, if you know that you've had enough, it's time to take action. Don't hold on to your mediocre way of living for the sake of or comfort, or for the sake of comfort or good memories. You need to go after the life you really want to live. A lot can change in only a few months' time if you are willing to let go of the past. A lot can change in a few months' time if you're willing to let go of the past and see what else life has to offer to you. To move on, do these four things. And we've heard of people, like even a husband or a wife, just leaving the family and going off to a totally different life. And I am not condoning leaving your family, your wife, and your children, and just leaving them and just running off somewhere. You incorporate their happiness into your happiness if you possibly can. Okay? So I'm not telling you to do that. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. But we've heard of that. And when we see a person, they're living a totally different life. And I believe it's wrong to run off and leave your children. I do. I do. I really do. Okay? But people do things and they make changes. Okay? So when people make changes and they might make a drastic change on us and it affects us, then we have to make that change and adjustment so that we can survive and thrive and be happy. So if somebody changes on you, you change yourself to be the person you're supposed to be without that person. All right? You can do it. Number one, ask yourself, what are your biggest dreams? Ask yourself, what are your biggest dreams? First of all, you need to know what you really want your life to be like. What are your biggest dreams? What would your ideal day be like? What do you want to do? Where and with who? And oh no, now when you go fantasizing about somebody that's attached to someone else and all that, that ain't it. Okay, so you have to rethink things. All right. So can you reach your dreams in your current situation, or do you need to let something go? And what I'm talking about, somebody that's attached to someone else, I'm talking about this stalking and all of this stuff. That ain't right. Okay, that ain't right. All right. So everything has to be in perspective and everything has to be rounded out and be in good taste, okay? Now, can you reach your dreams in your current situation, or do you need to let something go? For example, the job you have right now, the job you have now might help you build a safety net for later, but it might also hold you back if you want to do something completely different. Number two, be honest with yourself. So we talk about this almost every time. Be honest with yourself. It's not easy to know when enough is enough and what exactly you should do to change things for the better. But be honest with yourself and don't hide your true feelings from yourself. Be honest with yourself. Sometimes honesty hurts within, but we have to be honest with ourselves, okay? What are the things you want to change? What doesn't serve you anymore? What do you really want from life? Do you already know what you want to do, but you are afraid to say it out loud? Have the courage to be true to yourself and don't waste time second guessing. All right. Three, Make a plan. Got to have a plan, all right? Make a plan. Once you have an idea of what you want to do with your life, you need to make a plan. Now, if it's an emergency situation, you can be thinking it in your mind, but if you got to move, if you got to move at that very present time, when the opportunity arises, you make that move, and you can be planning while you're moving. Okay. Now, once you have an idea of what you want to do with your life, you need to make a plan. The more detailed it is, the better. You need to know whether you can leave your current situation immediately or do you need to make some preparations first, such as saving up money. Make sure your plan is actionable and start working on it right away. Right away. Number four, start taking small steps. If you can and you have the courage to do it, you can quit right away, pack your bags, and start a new life in a new city or whatever your dream might be. But in case you can't or don't want to change everything at once, simply start taking small steps every day towards your next chapter in your life. The important thing is that you keep going. Now, this is coming to my mind. If you have to make a change for your good, if it's a danger that you're in, if this is very, very necessary, you have children, you have someone else depending on you, sometimes, and most of the time, it's not good to let them know, just have everybody prepared and do what you have to do. If you have to say, oh, we're going to shop. I'm taking everybody shopping today. Everybody just come on and let's go shopping. Or let's just go here, go there. Get everybody in wherever your transportation is and hit the road, Jack or Jill, and get out of that situation. Sometimes it's not good to tell children what's going on, and sometimes even adults, if they're depending on you because they might say something or they might buck you. Okay? So you have to do these things. You have to be discreet. You have to be wise. And you have to be honest with yourself. Do I need to make this change right now? Okay, I need to make it. I got to go and get some yonder, as Cleus would say. Now, leaving the chapter in your life behind isn't going to be easy, but it is necessary for you to be happy, and you deserve happiness. And we've heard of people going into, well, I've seen it on TV, going into witness protection uh, services, and they just cannot keep from contacting someone in their past. And that's what gets them caught by the people that are looking for them to harm them. We have to be careful. I know I inserted that in there, but we don't know when we might have to make a change, what kind of change we might have to make, whether it's going to be an emergency or whether we can take our time and make this change. But whatever situation it is, be honest with yourself, and when it's time to move, move. All right? When it's time to move, move. And sometimes you don't need to look back. All right? Conclusion. Have you finally decided that enough is enough? Or are you still unsure about what you should do? And Nina says, I encourage you to think very carefully about what you want from life and then go after your dreams without wasting time doubting yourself. Believe in a better future and take the first step towards it today. Make sure to share this post if you will. Okay, this is, what is it? Let me see. Goals, GOALS calling.com. This is what it is. And hey, I am finished for today. But I just want to share that with you. When enough is enough, sometimes you have to move like lickety split, have to leave everything behind except you and the bodies that you need to take with you, all right, in order to survive. I cannot say one thing without saying the other because there are some people who are in dire straits right now, don't know what to do, they're in danger. If whenever you see this, be honest with yourself and be wise. Use wisdom and do what you have to do. And like Marina and Denison would tell us, she said, don't tell all you know, but know what to tell. Leave, sometimes you can't afford to look back, but you've got to do what's best for you. I thank you so much for joining me, so very much for joining me today on Point of View. And I hope the rest of your day, night, evening, afternoon, whenever you're watching this, will be awesomely wonderful. And of course, it's going to be blessed. All right. I speak that in the name of Jesus because when we can just open our eyes and we know what's happening around us, we are blessed above measure. I love you so much. Enjoy the remainder of whatever time you're looking at this webcast. You are awesome, and I thank you so much for your love and your support. See you later. God willing, it'll be Saturday at 7:39 p.m. and Sunday at 7 a.m. And ooh, next week is the 4th of July. All right. See you later. God willing. Let me get this